Yeah, so there are a lot of people, talking about the season 9 premiere, specifically the scenes with Andi and Zach, which, in my personal opinion, were the highlights of the episode. The other big highlight for me was Ebony's acting, but I already did a short about that, giving her deserved props. Definitely her deserved props there. But when it comes to Andi and Zach, I don't know if I would go so far as to ship these two. I was more enamored by the fact that they're so close now compared to like season 1. Because if you remember, at that point, everybody but Danny had a negative perspective of Zach due to the fact that they really only knew Zach from the negative stuff that would spew from Karen's mouth. Over the course of 3 years, the constant breakups, him, not bringing in a lot of money, borrowing money or taking money from her, the, diseases from cheating, all that stuff, being a jailbird. So essentially, none of them truly had a good perspective on who Zach was as a man and as a person. And I can't recall the exact episode number, but it was that one episode after drunk or high Morris tried to assault Andi and Gary saved her. And I believe Zach and Karen went to the police station to pick her up because she needed a ride. And I think on their way to dropping Andi off, Zach and Karen were in the middle of an argument. Andi, given the fact she was just in a, well, dang, when you really think about it, this is the second time Zach has been there for her when she was facing a very traumatic experience. Just like with recently saving her life. But either way, Andi was staring out the window because obviously her mind is somewhere else based off what she went through. And in the middle of Karen and Zach going back and forth, I think Zach, Andi, tell me what you really think of me. And she basically read him like a book. I can't remember verbatim what she said. This is from 2019, people. So this is almost 6 years ago. Even my memory doesn't have everything in a Rolodex. But I urge you to go back and rewatch that scene and then compare it to how these two are on such friendly terms now. I mean, well, heck, even when Fatima began seeing, I don't want to say dating because really all they did was have sex and he stayed with her. But, when Fatima would come into work lighting up and then when she first mentioned it was Zach, Andi was just shocked. It's like, that sounds nothing like the Zachary Taylor I know. But then over time, she began to understand, oh, okay, well, yeah, he's really different with you than when he was with Karen. So to then get to the point where Zach saved her life, that was some cool stuff because, she literally was on the cusp of getting everything she ever wanted. She had just made partner at the firm. The man that she claimed she wanted was only one phone call away, so she was going to the hotel to get him to stay in ATL. But then she got abducted, dealt with the whole situation in Gary's office, and was almost about to die. And then Zach saved her life. You know what? I did. I made comments about this, and other people have too, in regards to Karen finding herself in a situation where she needed to lean on someone, and the least likely person to do so, based on the way she treated and thought about this person, Fatima was the person that kept, helped her when she needed help the most. And then Andi was literally about to die, get murdered in cold blood, and Zach of all people. That's props to the writers. I gotta give props to the writers. I never would have thought this. Like, seriously, season 1, Zach, do you think at any point in time, Andi, Andrea Barnes, would need to depend on him when her life needed a person to save her the most? Same with Karen. When she would literally be staring around death's door. I mean, imagine if Karen, if memory serves, didn't she just like get off of work from the salon and was on the phone with Fatima and then said, hey, I could just stop by your house if it's cool and sign those papers? And what if, for whatever reason, her water broke at the salon and she was, I believe, alone. I don't think Pam or Trey were there. She could have died. She could have died unless Fatima would have remembered and talked to Zach. But remember, they were in the midst of figuring out the murder suspect board. So that probably never would have clicked, because keep in mind, Fatima would have been like, oh, we need to find Andi. And it's like, I haven't heard back from Karen, so she must be busy. Karen would have just probably died on that salon floor. And to think of all people, she needed Fatima. And I think kudos to the writers. I got to give props there. Because Zatima, ironically enough, Zach and Fatima were the saviors of the two mains from Sistas, being, well, Andi and Karen. Good stuff. Hey, the spinoff saved the show. Okay, I'm just kidding. But in any case, fans are thinking about, Andi, and it's like, oh, was there some flirty tension there? I think that's just, props to KJ and DeVal for their acting chemistry. I think DeVal just has chemistry with everybody. I'm not saying, hey, ship him with Preston or ship him with, Nathan. No, he just has that charisma. He has that charisma about him. And on top of that, Andi was pretty vulnerable. I'm not saying Zach would do anything. Dude's loyal. He is. Well, to Fatima anyway. But yeah, I just feel like I'm not saying Zach needs to get around like Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, because at some point he basically had romantic episodes with all the ladies. Obviously, Kelly was the main one, but he did have the one episode with Lisa where they were kind of a thing, but that only went for one episode. Then the Snow White and the Seven Dorks, he and Jesse kissed. But yeah, that was it. In terms of Zach and Andi, yeah, there is the whole, well, she flashed him. But the thing is, the great debate is whether or not she did that on purpose. My personal headcanon, and this is just for fun and laughs, maybe that was Andi's way of thanking Zach for saving her. I know it's like, Jeremy, why would you say that? But yes, she said, Zach, I didn't hear, because Zach called her name a few times, but he's like, hey, I'm about to head out. You okay? Well, I need to come in here and get my phone. And it was in her bedroom. And I still don't buy that. It's just like, you live in a sedity, like $1 million+ penthouse. And you're telling me the only outlets are what, in the bedroom and like out in the kitchen space? No, that doesn't make sense at all. So, I don't know. I just feel like it was, hey, Zach, peekaboo. Because he called her name like 2 or 3 times in the middle of the living room. Zach has a loud voice. Andi's bedroom was right there. Like, the only way it would have made sense for her not to hear is if she was in the shower or something. Which, I don't think she was. She could have been, like, in the closet area. Because, yeah, she has a big room. Because it's like the bedroom. And then you have this huge closet space. Then the bathroom's in the back. So, I guess maybe she didn't hear and then came out to the bed. Or she just could have been like, what, those memes where it's like, you ever just, your mind goes blank and then you realize you're driving. It's like because you're locked in. Andi could have been in that same mind space due to her traumatic experience. And that's why she didn't it didn't register until she turned around and saw Zach there. So I don't know, but there is chemistry there. But I think, let's be real, I don't think anything would happen due to the fact that they are both extremely loyal to Fatima out of love and out of fear. Because can you imagine what Fatima would do if she found out about these two freaking messing around? And there is the speculation of, okay, let's be real, neither one of these two can hold water. Zach has loose lips, and Andi, well, she's fidgety. At some point, Fatima's going to find out. And the question is like, what's going to happen then? So with that being said, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.